Right. So, I don't normally do movie reviews, but I'm reviewing Superman because I just watched it last night. I'm having issues with talking today. I just watched it last night and it was a lot of fun. And especially because of the controversy surrounding it because dumbasses like Dean Cain are calling it woke. The same Dean Cain who whined about how he was being treated because he's an Asian American who was cast as Superman. So, yeah, now he's gone full circle. Anyway, so, I have blah, blah, blah. Trying to say too many things at once. I have co MVPs. And the first one is Crypto. Crypto was amazing. I loved Crypto in this. He was such a beautifully badly behaving puppy. Um, which gives you the indication of what Supergirl is going to be like. I mean, not in the sense of being badly behaved, but yeah, she's a party girl. We found that out that she likes to go to systems without yellow suns so she can get drunk. So, now I was under the impression that Supergirl took place after Superman. So, but apparently she's celebrating her 21st birthday. So, did Superman just admit that Supergirl is drinking underage? Because what else would be the significance of celebrating your 21st birthday? If it wasn't because you can now get shit faced. Or maybe she's just celebrating her birthday, but I'm pretty sure it's implying that you have to be 21. So, if true, she's been drinking underage. Anyway, that's just something that just hit me. But anyway, um, so I'm assuming Supergirl is going to be a major um, character development for her. Whether she learns to not kill, because if Crypto's any indication, she probably does not have a problem with killing, unlike Superman. So either she's going to go that direction or just simply become less of a party girl and more responsible, maybe. I don't know. But there's going to be a serious character arc for her in the next movie. So, anyway, back to this movie. Um, so my other co MVP is actually Eve. Now, whether she started dating Lex so she could get some dirt on him, or she was hoping to blackmail him into not breaking up with her, but or maybe she and Jimmy were in on this from the beginning, that she was helping him out by taking advantage of her position of being Lex's girlfriend. But whatever the reason, she's the one who single handedly brought down Lex Luthor. Because she sent all those selfies, which, you think, okay, she's taking selfies in the weirdest areas and, in front of battle scenes, in front of this, in front of that, and you're like, what is happening? I mean, how much of an airhead do you have to be? But this was all planned. She did this for a reason. She is not as dumb as she is made out to be. Much smarter. A little too boy needy. This idea that she seems to desperately crave male attention, which that's a shame. Because it sounds like she actually has a pretty good head on her shoulders. So yeah, so I love her because she single-handedly brought down Lex. And Krypto because he saved Superman's bacon so many times. Um, let's see. At the beginning, when Superman called him to bring him home, even though Krypto thought that it's playtime, because God only knows when he last saw Superman, because we're in mid battle. Then there was with in the pocket dimension with while he was holding baby Joey, which, as an aside, that poor baby, as resilient as that baby is, all I can say is I hope that Element Man or Metamorpho or whatever we're going to be calling him has a good living, because he's going to have to shell out big bucks for that little boy's therapy. Because, oh my God. I mean, how messed up of a babyhood do you have to have? That kid's going to have deep-seated trauma. Definitely going to need therapy. And then, of course, there was when he was battling his clone. And I'm putting that in quotes because even though he's flesh and blood like Superman, he acts like a robot in the sense that Lex has to yell out, for lack of a better term, chess moves in order for him to do anything. Otherwise, he just stands there, just waiting for someone to tell him to do something. So Krypto helped him out with that. And then, so that's 3 times that he helped out Superman. And then, of course, there was the coup de grace where he was attacking Lex Luthor, which you can't blame the puppy. I mean, Superman was cross with him. He's like, dude, but you can't blame the puppy because bad man is bad. I mean, he told Superman he was going to study Krypto, and when he was done studying and got whatever they thought was as much as they could out of the dog, they were going to euthanize him. They were going to kill him. So, of course, if Superman's skin is impenetrable, I wonder if he would be able to penetrate Krypto's skin. Because it's not like I saw kryptonite anywhere around Krypto. But anyway. So, of course he's going to attack the bad man. I mean, that's just common sense. I mean, yes, you probably shouldn't kill said bad man, but maiming him, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, he shouldn't get yelled at. Anyway, but like Mr. Terrific said, those are not teeth. Which, imagine that. A dog from Krypton is going to not have your typical dog teeth. So anyway, like I said, it starts mid-battle. And this is Superman year 3, so of course he's within, he's in Superman mode, but there's still things he has to learn. Like, not constantly having the crap beaten out of him by someone who's as strong as him. I mean, he did eventually get the upper hand, but only because Krypto. Because he has a dog with him. Which he told Lois it's more of a fostering situation, which, I mean, he went back with Supergirl at the end. You were puppy sitting. you weren't fostering, but anyway, so yeah, he's getting the crap beaten out of him, and May I just say about Lex, what a absolute piece of shit he is. This isn't about envy, jealousy, whatever you want to call it. The man killed an innocent man playing Russian roulette simply because he dared to be nice to Superman. That when Superman fell and created a crater, he went down and helped him up. And for that, he got killed. Because, no, Lex is not even remotely a good man. Because if you think about it, the pocket dimension, he created something amazing where people can come and go as they please. They don't have to worry about going on airplanes. They don't have to worry about causing pollution. That is a great advancement for humanity to curb carbon emissions, to help with climate change. That's amazing. He could do amazing things with his intellect, but he is so singularly focused on destroying Superman that he becomes pure, unadulterated evil. Because Superman, yes, I can see where you would think he is a threat because people are relying on him as opposed to relying on human resilience. Okay, I can see where you are coming from. But instead of destroying him, give people an alternative first. And then, if you want to bring down Superman, nobody's going to notice because they're not going to be desperately needing him. But to cause a situation where they actually need Superman's help isn't the help you think it is. Like, oh, I don't know, let's just kill the people who like Superman by opening a black hole, which is why Mr. Terrific claimed you don't mess with pocket dimensions. Yeah, well, this wasn't an accident. Lex Luthor purposely did it. I mean, how bereft of humanity do you have to be to say that, oh, these people are friends of my enemies, so I'm going to let them die? Are you kidding me? What the hell? So, we also see him as Clark Kent. He admits he interviews himself and that the interview he had with Lois was longer than any interview he had with himself, which is admittedly hilarious. But I think he was trying to get this out, but Lois wouldn't let him. This idea, because Lois is operating under the assumption that he just sees himself as an American citizen. Because that's how world dynamics work. But Superman doesn't see himself as that. Especially when he only heard the first part of his parents' message, his biological parents' message, about that they sent him to Earth to help humanity. Well, they didn't say just this little landmass. They said all of humanity. So he does not see himself as simply an American citizen, even though he was raised by a couple of Kansas farmers. So he was raised in America, but he doesn't see himself as just an American citizen. So he doesn't see things the way Lois does. This idea that he's an American citizen, so he's a tool of the U.S. government. He doesn't see himself as a tool of any government. If he sees injustice, if he can stop people from dying, he will stop people from dying. Like when he saved that squirrel or when he saved that dog. And you see it when when Superman said, "Oh, I'm going to get myself arrested so they would take me to Krypto." And she's like, "But it's a dog." Now, obviously, she's never had a pet before in her entire freaking life, because anybody who's had a pet knows how much they are family. And let's face it. But then there's also the fact that that's the way Superman is. He cares about all life. So he's not going to just... So even if Krypto wasn't Kara's dog, which in the comics it's actually his dog, but whatever, he wants to protect the dog, especially since the dog saved his ass a few times. So, like, he was a good boy when the engineer and all of them came to the Fortress of Solitude, and he used Ultraman's DNA to gain access. The Superman robots were like of zero use. I mean, they tried, but they were of zero use. Krypto did a lot more. Granted, he was still easily captured, but at least he got a shot off. I don't think any of the robots actually did any damage. So he wanted to, he figured that because Lex took the dog, and Lex wasn't going to admit he took the dog, which it was odd that he said, he mumbled something, and Superman was like, "What did you say?" It's like, you have super hearing, dude. How did you not hear that? I mean, the rest of us don't have to hear it because we don't have super hearing. But what? You should have heard what he said. Or he heard and it was more of a, "I'm sorry, you said what?" type deal. I mean, that's possible too. So this is where I don't understand Eve. Eve did post that confrontation with Lex. But at the same time, at the very end, she's the one who sold him out. So, I'm sorry. Did you really think that he cared about you up to this point? I'm very confused as to why Eve was taking all these selfies in compromising places for Lex. I'm very confused. I mean, she ultimately was the hero because she brought Lex down, but at the same time, she also brought down Superman, or was one of the reasons Superman was brought down. So we've heard, and I was actually disappointed in Guy. I expected him to be much more of a douche. I really did. I mean, granted, they had Lex, so maybe they were easing up, but Guy in the comics is really a jerk. And, I mean, he really wasn't. I mean, you could understand his motives, like not wanting to help find Clark in the pocket dimension. I mean, the only thing you could accuse him of there is being really, really dumb. Like the hypno glasses. And she's like, "Yes, I know about the hypno glass." Which, why was she worried so much that he was going to be found out if she knew about the hypno glasses? I mean, I don't understand. But anyway. So, and then he mentioned, "So he's Clark Kent." And she's like, "Jesus Christ, why does he trust you?" Because he's way too willing to tell Lois Superman's identity. Um, just say, oh, so you know who he is? Yes, I do. Who is he? Make her tell you. Anyway, so yeah, he was more dumb than, and granted, Guy Gardner in the comics is also not the brightest bulb, but at the same time, he's pretty much of a jerk. I mean, we need to get him to the point where Batman lays him out with one punch. And I so hope that they do that in the DCU at some point, where Batman just gets so frustrated with Guy, he lays him out. I really, 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 really want that to happen. But Guy was not at that level in this movie. Because yes, I mean, first off, he, when everyone was turning on him, it looked like, okay, that they were going to protect him. Like, okay, I don't want everyone to see what I'm doing, so I'm going to cover the windows. I mean, he stood up to Superman, which, I'm sorry, it's adorable that you think your ring could beat Superman. That's just so cute. But at the same time, you understand it because of the second half of the message. Granted, Superman, who who doesn't lie, said he only heard the first part because the second part was damaged. And, he still wouldn't accept it. But neither would Hawkgirl. Hawkgirl was not willing to help him either. I mean, if you're going to make Guy a total jerk, at least make him up on a pedestal. Not make it so other people agree with him. So, yeah, I was a little disappointed at that. Mr. Terrific, loved him. He agrees to help Lois, but it's more to piss off Guy more so than it's to help Superman. Because again, all three of them are kind of freaked out that there might be more to Superman that they know, when that's not the case. He's just more information came out. But it's understandable. Completely understandable. So, I was rather disappointed in Metamorpho that it took, not just that he offered to rescue baby Joey, but it actually took him watching Lex murder a man. Because you're stuck in a pocket dimension, and because they have your kid. This is not a good man. Why are you helping him? I mean, all I can think of is, maybe he doesn't know who Superman is. I mean, who knows how long he's been in that pocket dimension. So it's possible he doesn't know who Superman is. I mean, Superman had to explain to him that he needs the sun to get energy, because the kryptonite poisoning, okay, you took the kryptonite away, but I have no way of regaining my strength because no yellow sun. Oh, let me see if I can help you. Which he did. And the people on either side of him, I don't know about the one on our left side, but the woman on the right, who I guess was a ex-girlfriend, which, that's awesome that Lex just sends his ex-girlfriends to rot in a pocket dimension. I don't know if she was trying to do the same thing that Eve eventually did, which was try to blackmail him or something. I don't know. But they're just like trying to rat out Metamorpho for helping Superman. But that's all right. By the time, someone, they got the attention of someone, the damage was done. And so Superman has to carry the baby because when Metamorpho shifts, he cannot hold the baby, which, I mean, I can understand that if your arms are involved in the shifting, but otherwise, I didn't see that. I mean, eventually he did that to save Superman and the baby, but eventually Superman saves them all by propelling them backwards using his ice breath. He also saved Mr. Terrific from being bowled over by a puppy because he called him for help. That was help number 2. And then they all, get out, and Mr. Terrific is just like, what is going on? I just love it how Metamorpho calls Superman weird. You're so weird. It's like, have you looked at yourself at all? But he's obviously a good dad because he cares very much about baby Joey. And that works to his benefit, Superman's benefit later on, when he has to help first Mr. Terrific, and then he's taken out by Ultraman. He helps out the Justice Gang, which I'm kind of upset that we didn't see that much of what happened. It was just that little kid who just kept calling for Superman, and Guy was the one who protected him from all those troops that were about to just put a bunch of lead in him, which he's a child. What the hell? So, and of course, Guy said a bit of the jerky, you got an upgrade, kid. Okay, he's full of himself. We knew that. I'm not getting jerk from him. Not to the comics extent, but I guess they didn't give him enough time. So we saw a little bit of Hawkgirl. She actually murdered the president of Baravia, which, yeah, I'm sure that's going to come back to bite her in the ass. Now, whether it's going to come back to bite everyone in the ass, which includes Maxwell Lord, which I was kind of disappointed we only got a brief cameo of him, because I thought that he might be in the Hall of Justice with the rest of them, talking about what to do about Superman being stuck in this pocket dimension. Or, if not actively participating, at least being there. But no. So, the thing that gets Eve to finally turn on Lex was not that he's, opened a black hole and is going to swallow up all Metropolis and eventually the world, because he's pissy that Superman is getting away with when he's trying to scheme for him to be taken off the board permanently. And so he gets pissy and, decides, I'm going to destroy the Earth, because that's a choice. That, I'm like, does she even know about that? Does she realize that? Why did it take him calling her an idiot and telling her to get out to get her to get upset? Or was she really so oblivious that these selfies that she was taking, but she sent all them to Jimmy, so she must have known that there was something to them. So I just do not understand. I give her the MVP because she brought down Lex, but at the same time, what the heck? I do not understand why him calling her an idiot was the last straw. I mean, when she met with Jimmy to give him even some information, she wanted to get back together with him. She seemed like, she was scared. She didn't want Lex to track her. But yet she stayed with him. I mean, that's why I'm not sure if she was doing this to bring Lex down, that she knew something and she wanted to bring him down, or why she was still with him. And to be in a server room where Ultraman is in earshot. I mean, granted, it's great that she sent all that info, but yeah, she could have done it in a safer area where nobody would know that she's doing it. I mean, she's Lex's girlfriend. Nobody would pay attention to the fact that, oh, she's selling you down the river. So let's see if there's anything I'm missing. Oh, let's talk about the woke part of this movie, which oddly enough does not involve the fact that Perry is black. No, the reason Dean Cain was losing his absolute mind, along with all of MAGA, well, Dean Cain didn't like the way Ma and Pa Kent were portrayed. It's like, I'm sorry, I lived in Illinois. The further south in Illinois you go, the more of a southern twang you have. Absolutely no one would consider any part of Illinois to be south. So yes, Kansas farmers will have a bit of a twang. Is that why he thinks that James Gunn made them dumb hicks? Because it sounds like the only person who has it in his head that they were portrayed as dumb hicks is Dean Cain. Because I'm from north central Wisconsin. I'm considered a hick simply because of where I'm from. And just the fact that, and people will, at least in Madison, there was a bartender, this happened to my brother, who knew he was from north central Wisconsin, because he would say, instead of, I don't know, because that's how we talk. And Peter never said, I don't know, ever again, because he did not like that he was being pegged as a hick. I mean, not everybody, just because you're a hick doesn't mean that you can peg them for all other things. It doesn't mean that you know their politics. It doesn't mean you know their likes, their dislikes. You know nothing about them. You just know the area of the country they're from, or the area of the state in this matter. So, okay, they have a twang. They're folksy. Okay, what was it about that makes them dumb? Or, I mean, a hick, yeah, but dumb? No, the only person who's projecting that is Dean Cain. They actually gave Superman his call to action. Which, by the way, I thought it was adorable that he woke up to Krypto on his chest. I mean, I'm sure for Superman, it's like, get off me, dog. But I thought it was adorable. But yeah, nothing dumb about them. I mean, okay, they're folksy. Nothing dumb about that. The other thing that got Mega up in arms is the fact that James Gunn called Superman an illegal immigrant. Well, yeah. Does he have papers? Maybe because they were forged by Ma and Pa Kent, but he doesn't have papers. Why? Because he's literally from another planet. And everybody on the show, in the movie, knows that he's from another planet. Nobody questions his citizenship stats. Actually, Lois, that's the most mind-boggling thing. She knows that he's an American citizen only because he was raised here. He wasn't born here. He probably has citizenship papers because, again, Ma and Pa Kent forged them. But but he's not actually a citizen because he probably never went through the naturalization process. So again, where's this idea that he represents the American government? Nope. No, he doesn't. There's nothing about Superman that would lead someone to say, yep, he represents the American government. The fact that the Justice Gang represents Maxwell Lord, well, he created the Justice Gang, so that I will give you. But there's nothing that says he represents America. I mean, it used to be that Superman would say truth, justice, and the American way, but he doesn't do that anymore. Because technically, he's a citizen of the world. So I was kind of bummed that he didn't point that out in the interview, that he's technically not an American, so no need to say he represents the American government. So yeah. There's going to be a Superman 2, Man of Tomorrow. So, and it looks like that Lex and Superman have to team up against Brainiac. So that's going to be interesting. And I assume Supergirl's going to be a part of it because I'm sure since this version of Supergirl witnessed the destruction of Krypton, I'm going to say that she's familiar with Brainiac. So I'm assuming Supergirl's going to be a part of it. I would think Mr. Terrific would be part of it. Before I continue with that, like I said before, I'm kind of bummed that they didn't show more of the Bravia fight. You know, we saw Hawkgirl take down the president. We saw Guy save that little kid. We didn't really see, Metamorpho was there, but we didn't really see if he did anything. Or maybe I missed it, but I didn't see him do anything. So, but back to Man of Tomorrow, I expect to see Supergirl, Superman, Lois, Lex, of course, Brainiac, Mr. Terrific. I'm pretty sure Mr. Terrific is going to be there. Whether Angela's going to be there, which that girl takes a lot of battle damage. I mean, I really thought she would pass out when Superman flew up into space. Granted, he did that and fell because he knew that he would be fine, but that would take out her, so her nanites would stop attacking him. But that's the first time I saw Lex actually care about a person. He seemed a little, or maybe he was just a little freaked out that Superman would do that. I'm not sure. So maybe she'll show up in Superman Man of Tomorrow. I hear that the Authority is still potentially happening. We just don't have a storyline yet because other projects have been cannibalizing the storylines. So they're still working on finding a good storyline for the Authority. Um, so I don't know if Angela will just next appear in that, or if she will appear in Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Um, I don't know if we're going to see any of the. I assume we're going to see the Daily Planet people because Clark Kent. So unless this movie strictly takes place as him as Superman, I'm going to say that we're going to see the Daily Planet gang. Let's see. As far as Supergirl, that takes place in another solar system, so except for Crypto, I don't expect to see anybody from this cast. Let's see what else is there about this movie I wanted to mention. Hmm. I think I've covered everything I wanted to. Let me. Oh, yes. I was always under the impression that Mr. Terrific was standing on his T spheres, not sitting like in a comfy chair, in a lounge chair. So, I mean, I'm fine with it, but I wasn't expecting that. Let's see. What else did I want to mention about this movie? Um, I think I covered everything now. So with that, I will see you guys in the next video.